If you're a Flutter developer, you know the dream, right? A super smooth, totally responsive UI. But what happens when that dream turns into a nightmare and your app just freezes? Well, today we're going to unlock Flutter's secret weapon for keeping things running smoothly, Isolates. Let's dive in. You've been there. I know you have. You've built this gorgeous, fluid app. The animations are slick, everything's working perfectly, and then boom, out of nowhere, it just hangs. So what is actually going on under the hood when a fantastic user experience just grinds to a halt? Users are tapping, they're clicking, but nothing. The whole interface just ignores them. And let's be honest, that is probably one of the most frustrating things a user can experience. And that slick animation you spent hours, maybe even days perfecting, yeah, that's now frozen right in the middle of a frame. The whole app just feels broken, clunky, and honestly unprofessional. So what is the single culprit behind this performance disaster? To really get why this happens, we need to pop the hood and look at the root cause. It all boils down to how Flutter's engine handles, well, everything. So, meet the star of our show, and also kind of the source of our problem, the main isolate. I want you to think of it as this one single, incredibly hardworking employee for your entire app. It is responsible for drawing everything you see on the screen and handling every single tap and swipe. First up on its huge to-do list is UI rendering. It is constantly, and I mean constantly, working to paint every pixel of your app's interface. It's always chasing that buttery smooth 60 frames per second. But that's not all. On top of that, it's also the only one listening for user interactions. Every tap, every swipe, every single scroll has to go through our one busy worker, the main isolate. And wait, there's more. On top of all of that, it's also trying to manage every single animation to keep things looking slick and modern. You can already see how this one worker is juggling a ton of absolutely critical tasks. But then we do something cruel. We ask it to do something really heavy, like parsing a giant JSON file or running some ridiculously complex math. And what happens? The main isolate gets totally consumed by this new heavy task. And because it can only do one thing at a time, everything else, the UI, the interactions, the animations, it all gets blocked. The app freezes. Game over. So how do we stop this from happening? How do we prevent this total system meltdown? Simple. We need to give our main isolate some help. And that, my friends, is where our hero comes in, Isolates. This is the key to freeing up that main thread for good. This slide just says it all, doesn't it? On the left, you see the old way. Our single worker totally overwhelmed by that heavy data processing, dropping all its important UI tasks. But look at the right. This is the isolate way. Our main worker is free, it's happy, it's handling the UI like a champ, while a brand new dedicated helper takes on that heavy lifting in the background. It's the magic of delegation, built right into your app. And you know the best part? Isolates are incredibly safe to use. See, they don't share memory at all. This means one isolate can't accidentally reach over and mess with another isolate's data. They communicate by passing messages back and forth, kind of like coworkers sending emails. This design completely prevents all those nasty concurrency bugs like race conditions. It's just a clean, predictable way to get parallel work done. Okay, so the theory is awesome, but how do you actually use this in your code? Let's switch gears and get into the how, looking at the tools you can use in your own Flutter apps, like today. So what are the perfect jobs to hand off to a background isolate? Well, think about anything that's computationally heavy. Parsing a massive chunk of JSON from an API, applying an image filter, encrypting or decrypting data, running complex algorithms. Really, the golden rule is this. If you think it might take a noticeable amount of time and could even potentially block the UI, it is a perfect candidate for an isolate. Now, the absolute easiest way to get started is with Flutter's built-in compute function. It's designed to be dead simple. You just define your heavy task as a top-level or static function, you pass it to compute, and that's it. Flutter handles all the messy background work, spawning the isolate, running your code, and then sending the result back to you. It is the perfect way to just dip your toes into parallel processing. Now, compute is fantastic for those quick, one-and-done jobs. But what if you need something more, like a persistent background worker, or you need to have an ongoing, two-way conversation? That's when you'll reach for the big guns, isolate.spawn. It's definitely more complex to set up, no doubt, but it gives you complete granular control over the isolate's entire lifecycle, which is absolutely essential for those more advanced use cases. So let's say you've done it. You've implemented this architecture. What's the big payoff? Let's bring it all home and see what a truly smooth app looks and feels like. This right here, this is the ultimate goal. This isn't just about writing clever code for the sake of it. It's about creating an experience that feels seamless, responsive, and just delightful for the person using your app. A responsive UI is a massive part of being user-friendly.
So, if you remember one thing, let it be this. Let each part of your app do what it does best. Let the main isolate focus on its one true love, delivering a beautiful and responsive user interface, and then offload all of that heavy, boring, time-consuming work to background isolates. This separation of concerns is the real secret to building high-performance Flutter apps.
And that's a wrap on our tour of Flutter Isolates. The key takeaway is now in your hands. So I want you to go take a look at your own projects. Think about it. What's the very first bottleneck you can find and offload to make your app just that little bit smoother? Go for it, and thanks for joining me.